Okay, thank you for the question. The question was, what about the sales tax when you buy a boat or a yacht? Typically, and of course we're in California, so basically what I'm going to talk about is the California sales and use tax, but be aware that Florida has a sales and use tax. Most states have some kind of tax that will apply. Oregon does not. Washington does. But essentially, the sales tax is on the sale of a new boat. The use tax is on the sale of a used boat. In California, the basic tax is 8.25%. Local, county, and municipal taxes may be stacked on top of that. So in some counties in California, you'll pay roughly 9.5% of the use tax. So the first question we get when anyone says, what about the sales tax or use tax, is how do I avoid paying $90,000 on $1 million boat that I just bought? And there are a couple of ways to avoid it. One is to take an offshore delivery of the vessel. That means the sale is consummated outside the waters or outside the state of California. The boat is physically delivered to the new owner outside the territorial ocean boundary. The boat then must go directly to another state or to Mexico. Typically in California, Southern California, they go to Ensenada. If you're a California resident, you're going to have to keep it there for a year. You can't just store it. You must use the boat actively and document your use of it, because that will be part of the review that State Board of Equalization does to determine that, yes, in fact, it was used outside the state for more than a year. Non-resident, non-citizen of California has a 6-month window. Corporations, LLC, citizenship follows the citizenship of the owner, of the stockholder. So if you're a single stockholder or a single member LLC, you're a resident of California, boat's going to be a resident of California. There are other ways to avoid the sales and use tax. If the boat is being purchased for a business purpose, that is going to be held in an inventory. If you want a charter company or putting the boat in charter, hold the boat in charter and used exclusively for chartering the boat, which is not unusual. You pay taxes on the amount of the charters each year, not the purchase price of the boat. But remember, personal use is excluded, so you can't pretend to be a charter boat right off the tax and think you'll skate by. Odds are at some point you'll be audited. It's a risk a lot of people take. The formula that we use in determining whether you should go to Mexico for a year is very simple. Add up the cost of keeping it in Mexico, the cost of traveling to Ensenada, wherever you have it, for the year, cost of maintaining it in Mexico, keeping a crew on board or a watchman, doing whatever work you want to do in Mexico, and then see if that's worth whatever the sales tax is, plus the inconvenience. Now, not unusual that people will buy a very nice cruising boat and put it in the Sea of Cortez for a year, or in Acapulco or Mazatlan or Cabo, and then use it there for a year or two and bring it back, in which case you completely avoid the sales tax. Have to remember too that if you buy a boat in Florida, bring it into California, have it shipped out here, within that year you're going to pay a California sales tax. Now Florida has a maximum of, if I remember correctly, $18,000. So no matter what you pay for your boat, the max you're going to pay in sales tax is $18,000. So if you pay the Florida tax, and you can get exclusions if you buy in Florida for 90 days, and I think 90 days more. So you could actually stay there for 6 months if you follow the rules there, which I'm not going to talk about. But if you can avoid those taxes and then come into California within the year, you're going to end up paying the entire California use tax. Any other questions on the use tax? Okay.